Hello and welcome to another My Music with me, Graham Cave. In a minute, I'm going to be speaking to my guest today, Flo, about her life in music, where it came from, who inspired her, where she's going, all of those different things. But first, we must, of course, have this little video from Analog Trash so that you can get yourself ready, get a cup of tea, and get yourself comfortable. Flo, thank you so much for coming.
Hi.
I love your hair, by the way. It's just there, isn't it?
It's just there.
It's just there. Yeah. Do you have days where your hair just takes over?
I mean, my hair is another world. I mean, yeah, I can't really control it.
It's out of this plane.
Yeah, it's quite hot actually. I get kind of these spontaneous thoughts of shaving it all off.
Do you? Yeah. Have you ever done that?
I have, yeah. I did it about 10 years ago. I became a Buddhist nun and I shaved all my hair off.
Okay. We stopped the interview right there and we just center on that because that's a really fascinating thing. What took you down that route?
So I had kind of I'd quit university at the time and I had left a 5-year relationship who I met when I was 14. And then I just ended up traveling for a few years. And while I was traveling, I was kind of also exploring my roots. And my grandparents who are from Iraq, they actually migrated to Burma. So they were born there, 2 generations born there. And then when I was there, I got really into meditation and found myself on different monasteries and nunneries. And then I decided to become a Buddhist nun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has any of that practice followed you through? Do you still meditate? Do you still use space to kind of get away from this world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit more kind of realistic now because I think the amount that I was meditating then isn't really possible now. I mean, it is possible, but I just think, in this kind of capitalist society, it's not that easy. And there's so much to do. And so, yeah, I do think I've taken a lot of philosophies and practices and I still meditate. But I think for me, it's more of a kind of mindfulness throughout the day, more like the little things,
Yeah. Do you think it seeps over into the music? Because quite interestingly, in some of your music, there are patterns that are just repeating. Do you feel like any of that kind of almost chant-like feel comes over in some of your music?
I've never really seen it like a chant, but yeah, I guess you could kind of see it like that. I love hearing other people's perspectives. I think for me, it's more the kind of repetition that's helped me to internalize certain things in my life. So I might have written a song and then kind of looked back on it and then it's given me some insight as to what I might have been going through. And I think maybe the repetition was a way of me kind of, really trying to digest what it was I was processing.
Oh, I like that. Now, listen, I find people in different ways, etc. But sometimes the algorithm, although it's sinful, is quite useful. And I'm guessing I came across you first and foremost because I was actually at the time I was listening to a lot of Lucy Rose's stuff, and especially her new stuff that's got that kind of jazzy element to it. Are you you know, and then you suddenly appeared on the old Instagram. Are you aware of Lucy's work? Are you a fan of Lucy and what she's
I am.
doing?
I mean, I haven't really followed her music a lot. I think I've played at a few of the same festivals as her. And then that's kind of how I heard of her. And I think a few people have mentioned that they kind of hear the similarities. But yeah, I mean, there's so many musicians in the world. There's so many that I don't even know of that I'm yet to kind of find out. And I listen to such bizarre kind of, just such a collection of music, and people are often kind of surprised by my.
Yeah. What? Okay, let's go there. What things would people be surprised that Flo listens to?
Ooh. I'm massively into neo soul. I rarely listen to folk music. I think the only kind of folk-ish music that I have listened to is like Laura Marling. I think she's been like my main kind of folk genre influence.
Yep.
But other than her, it's mainly kind of soul and neo soul and kind of, I would say, world music. I listen to a lot of kind of Buena Vista Social Club and a lot of West African music. Yeah.
And there's a jazzy influence in there as well. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up. Yeah, I mean, my parents used to play a lot of jazz growing up, and my dad collected music, and there was a lot of jazz playing in the house. And I think also because when I started learning guitar at the age of 10, I was introduced to a teacher from Colombia, and he taught me bossa nova. So that was kind of my foundation for playing guitar and writing on guitar. Yeah. Even though I was kind of my childhood was more classical based because I started playing cello when I was 5. But yeah, I think I was introduced to jazz, and that kind of seeped into my music.
I think you can hear it in your music. I think you can hear it in the guitar playing as well, because you can tell when someone's like grown up playing Wonderwall and stuff like that, and then you can tell when someone's maybe pulled out shapes and plucks a little bit more and moves with shapes a little bit more rather than strum. There's some delicacy there which comes out of that kind of jazz angle. How did you find learning playing guitar? Was it comfortable for you? Was it that was there anything that you found particularly difficult?
Yeah, guitar came quite naturally to me, and I think that's because playing cello for such a long time was there. But yeah, I think that as a child, guitar was like my musical kind of form of expression, and holding it felt like it was almost part of me, and I just couldn't be apart from it. And I think it was all about patterns, and that's kind of how I learned. But when it came to the theory, that's something that kind of as I grew older kind of started to put me off. So I kind of still to this day like stayed away from understanding more about theory. And I'm sure there's like many positives to understanding the kind of it,
you and me both. The thing is, I just get so bored with that.
I get really bored, and also my brain just doesn't work in that way. And I think I'm much more visual, much more about colors and patterns and sound and linking that sound together. Sometimes I'll just play a random jazz chord and then another random jazz chord, and I'm like, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah. Can you sit? God, let's be honest. Can you sit for hours just going like, and then just moving it and then just like, and then thinking, oh, right, I'm just going to play that, but I'll play it in a different way now, and just really lose yourself in like a couple of chords for hours, and everyone else in the house is going, honestly, stop doing that,
I
over and
actually am
over.
not like that, actually.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No, like, so I don't pick up the guitar and play for hours. That's not, I mean, that's something I used to do as a child, but now I
Quite disciplined about it now.
Well, no, actually, I would say the opposite. I actually like don't play all the time. I just kind of have these phases where like I'll play a lot all at once, like it's quite intense, and I'll write a lot of music and I'll experiment. And then I'll just like have a big phase of just not playing. And I feel as though I need to have that time to kind of just like be inspired and live my life and do other things, because there are other things I enjoy as well.
Cool. No, that makes sense. So when you're not playing, when you're not writing, when you're not having those intense moments where you're doing all of that, what inspires you? Where do you go to get inspired, or what do you look at, what do you watch, what do you know are you a people watcher?
I love watching people. I think therapy inspires me.
I love it.
No, really, I was talking to my friend the other day about this. I really feel as though my music, the music I write, it's all kind of, it's just my journal essentially.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, and I think just creating space as well. I can't really write much if I've just got like too much going on. So I think any way of like, just going for walks and runs, and even just having like in-depth conversations with friends or family, it just really helps me to get like my creative flow.
Yeah. It's amazing actually how many people try and create in a vacuum, which I've never really understood. If you know what I mean by that, where they literally, and it's a problem that you hear a lot of people talking about, may not necessarily be around writing music or whatever, but certainly if you look at things like social media, which I'm involved in and stuff like that, people go, but I just don't know what to write about, or I don't know. And you think, well, where are you starting from? The thing is, the problem is you're constantly looking at a blank page and thinking, I've got to fill it.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, would you believe in the philosophy that if you just go out there and experience stuff, then the stuff you want to create comes from that?
It's such a tough one, because I feel as though as a creative, it's something that I've been in and out of struggling with, and I'm sure like most creatives have. And there isn't really an answer. I think it's just a long process of finding out what's right for you in each stage of your life. But yeah, I think I've kind of, I take the approach of if nothing comes to me and I don't feel like writing, I won't write. I just don't want to force it. It feels really, I actually don't feel good about myself when I force it.
Has anyone ever given you any really good advice about if you hit that kind of brick wall, what to do, or is there somebody that if you're hitting a brick wall, you would then go, right, you call that person up and go, we need to do something? Is there someone that's a really good inspirer for you?
I would say, who's an inspirer? I think being around animals.
Yay!
I was going to say, I was thinking of like all the humans in my life, and I was like, no.
No, they're all rubbish. The animals are great though.
Yeah, they're really great. And I just feel so safe and like not judged by them. And usually writing is quite a private thing for me. I usually find it quite difficult to do it when I'm in a room filled with people. So if it's an animal, it's all good.
If you're quite a private person about your writing, how do you then feel when you then bring that to a band situation to, you know, we're going to work this up, we're going to play that? Are you nervous at the first time you like bring your baby out and like?
Yeah, I used to be really daunted by it, but now I really love it. I think it's the part of me that wants to be pushed. I want to push my boundaries. I want to develop as an artist. And usually when I bring ideas to my band, they also have some really incredible ideas, and then we can like bounce off each other. And it's just, yeah, I think I've found a way to kind of play a bit more rather than take it so kind of seriously and it be so kind of formal.
Talk about your latest album. In terms of that album that you've released now, do you feel like you've got the play right on that?
The play right?
Yeah, the play, that moment, the moments on the album, because I hear it in what you're doing. I feel there is a sense of, I think there is a sense of play in there.
Yeah.
Do you feel quite happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of I feel that there's a kind of a mixture of kind of being human with all its emotions, but then this kind of ounce of play, and it just makes it a bit lighter and warmer, and brings I want to bring the listener in. I want it to be intimate when they listen to it and feel light in whatever they're feeling. Yeah, and the album is about how, you know, the human's capacity to kind of endure and adjust to difficult circumstances in their lives. And this kind of reflects some of the difficulties I've been through in the last few years. And I think that it's incredible actually to see what humans can kind of withstand, and throughout it kind of question your resilience, but then afterwards look back and be like, wow, I'm actually more resilient than I thought. And with there being so much going on in the world, I just think humans are really incredible. Like, it really, you know, I mean, I can't bear to think what people are going through, and just, yeah.
I mean, that the music itself feels like a very personable statement, as opposed to a, you know, a global observation. But do you clearly feel like, having gone through COVID and everything else that we went through for the last few years, do you feel that like elements of that have seeped into it in terms of?
Yeah, I don't know if it's related to COVID or any of that. I think it's more a universal feeling, like suffering is universal.
Yeah. I just wonder whether you felt that more because of those years that we've just been through, or
maybe unconsciously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's more, you know, the kind of transitions that we as humans kind of have to go through and accept, and that's universal.
Mm. How do you feel about the prognosis for the human race? Is it good, or do you feel like, you know, we're heading towards something worse, or do you feel like are you quite positive, an optimist about it? Do you feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel?
I don't have a clear answer for you, I'm afraid. I think I'm still trying to figure that out myself, just like many people are. I think often when we talk about these topics, we want this kind of black and white answer. We want to be able to predict. I think it makes us feel safe. But at the end of the day, I just, you know, I don't know. I'm not a professional. Who am I to say?
No. But do you think that there are some answers in doing what you do? Do you feel that there's some answers in in just putting out there what you can be honest about at any given time, and hopefully that helps. And if it helps some, then it's making some difference.
Yeah, I think my aim with my music has always been to kind of humanize people and make them feel like they can kind of bring their authentic selves, including like every government around the world. And I think in that, I hope change will happen, because at the end of the day, like if you're truthful and authentic to yourself, how can we be doing what we're doing to the world? Like how can that feel like the truth?
Well, that brings a really interesting question up then, which is if you could pick one person in the world who really should listen to your album because it might just change them from within, who would you pick?
It's such a hard question. No one's asked me this before, and
I try and ask questions that no one's asked before.
I was trying to think of like someone really evil, but then I was like, they might not even like my music, and they might not even then bother listening to it. So you need to pick someone like, I don't know, in the middle.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Oh God.
Maybe someone like, the English Prime Minister or someone that's, it may have some effect on, But then again, remember it's the death knell if the English Prime Minister ever tells the world that they love your music. I don't know whether you remember that. That's killed off bands in the past. So
I mean, I've never thought about Rishi Sunak listening to my music. It's just
we won't ask him. We won't ask him. We really won't. But there you go. Where do you go next?
Sorry, I didn't give you a direct answer to that.
No, it's fine. Where are you going next with your music? Do you know where you're going next, or are there sort of a fresher approach or a fresh set of ideas that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm really trying to kind of push my boundaries at the moment, collaborating with different artists. And I'm kind of moving in a more kind of soul-y, jazzy place. Yeah, I'm kind of moving less, like kind of more away from the folk world, and really experimenting with different sounds. Working on an EP at the moment already, because actually my my album Clay, that once I've written it and recorded it, I'm usually kind of on to the next project. Still really excited about it coming out, but I am kind of focusing on some different sounds at the moment.
Would there be a dream person to work with?
Oh, there's so many. Someone I'd actually really love to work with is Perlin, and also Maverick Sabre, and Laura Marling, of course.
Wow. What
07.
07. Oh.
Yeah, I'd love to
even getting into the kind of ambient vibe there. I'd
love it.
Yeah, I like that. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Look how quickly the time just goes like that. Do tell everyone where they can go and get your current album, so that they can all go and do that now to financially support you in producing the next album, which you're currently making, and then they will all go off and do that, which will be fantastic. So yeah, do tell us.
So my album Clay is out on the 7th of June, and tour dates are now available online, but you can find my the album available to pre-order on my website at floperlin.com, or you can go on Bandcamp and just type in my name, Flo Perlin. Yeah, I think that's everything.
And it looks lovely as well. The physical release of it looks absolutely beautiful. You've done a smashing job in terms of getting that sorted there.
I really appreciate that. So much thought and so much has gone into it. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Folks, this has been a wonderful Flo. Do go and check out her music because it's tremendous, and also you will not be disappointed. Hopefully that little few moments we've had together this afternoon has actually, now made you feel like you can't live in a world without Flo. Go and spend some money, because all of that really does help. And if you've enjoyed this, please do go and share it with other people that you might know. If you feel like we've wasted the last 26 minutes of your time, I can only but apologize for that. You can get the time back by going and filling in a tax form and enjoying the rest of your life. Thank you, Flo, for coming on today. That's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I look forward to seeing what music you've got coming up in the future. Until then.